I died with my son's last words burning in my ears. Mom. She's poisoning me. Tell everyone after I'm gone. The bullet from her hired gunman ripped through my chest before I could even scream. And as the world dissolved into black, I tasted the irony, me.
O tumhale.
The loyal widow who'd clawed her way through life for family, betrayed by the one I'd welcomed as a daughter. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my body 3 years earlier. Heart pounding in that cramped Brooklyn apartment, the phone still ringing with my son's first plea for help. I gasped awake on the sagging couch, the air thick with the stale scent of yesterday's takeout Chinese. My hands, younger, unscarred by the arthritis that had twisted them in my final life, flew to my throat, feeling the pulse that shouldn't be racing like this. The clock on the wall ticked 7:42 p.m., October 15th, 2022. Not the rain-slicked alley behind the funeral home in 2025, where I bled out clutching that secret like a grenade. No. This was the night Ethan called, his voice cracking over the line. Mom, I think something's wrong with Claire.
She's
changing the locks on our accounts.
Claire.
My daughter-in-law, the polished viper with her yoga-toned arms and Instagram-perfect life, who'd married my boy fresh out of Yale Law, promising forever. In my first go-round, I dismissed it as paranoia, chalked it up to Ethan's stress from the firm.
But now?
I knew. She'd been siphoning his trust fund, sleeping with his partner at the law firm, and when the money dried up, she'd laced his whiskey with antifreeze, staging it as a suicide to claim the insurance. And me, the meddling mother-in-law who'd started asking questions? She'd pinned Ethan's suicide note on me, forged in my handwriting, making it look like I'd driven him to it. The cops bought it hook, line, and sinker until the funeral, when I'd shoved that note in her face. The one Ethan had whispered to me on his deathbed. That's when she threw my suitcase out into the mud, screaming I was a liar, a gold digger ruining her grief. The mourners scattered like roaches, and 2 nights later, I was gone. Not this time. This time, I was coming for her. The phone buzzed in my lap, Ethan's name lighting up the screen. I snatched it, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest.
Ethan?
Baby.
Talk to me.
Mom. His breath hitched, the city noise faint behind him, honking taxis, distant sirens, the pulse of Manhattan.
I
don't know. Claire's been weird. She changed the passwords on our joint accounts today. Said it was for security, but she wouldn't tell me the new ones. And last night, I found these bottles in the trash, antifreeze, like for the car. She said it was for the garage, but we don't even have one. My blood turned to ice, but I forced a calm I'd faked through board meetings and chemo scares. Listen to me.
Son.
Don't touch a drop of anything she gives you. Meet me tomorrow. Coffee shop on 5th and Lex. 8 a.m. sharp. Pack a bag just in case. He hesitated, the golden boy who'd always trusted too easily. Mom, you're scaring me. Is this about that fight last week? Claire said you're jealous. That you never liked her. Jealous? Of her fake lashes and her daddy's Hamptons trust? Hell no. But in that life, I'd laughed it off, sent him home with a hug and a casserole. This time, I leaned into the lie. She's gaslighting you.
Ethan.
I've seen it before, with your dad. Before the crash. Come to me. Please. He agreed. Voice small like when he was 10 and scared of thunderstorms. I hung up, staring at the peeling wallpaper of my one-bedroom in Bed-Stuy. At 58, I downsized after the divorce, scraping by on alimony and freelance editing gigs. No more. If I was getting a do-over, I'd rewrite the script, starting with Claire Goddamn Whitaker. The next morning, the coffee shop hummed with the rhythm of New York, baristas yelling orders, suits tapping on laptops, the hiss of espresso machines like a symphony of ambition. Ethan slid into the booth across from me, his tie loosened, dark circles under those blue eyes that mirrored his father's. He looked 32, going on 50, the weight of partnership at Hale and Whitaker already grinding him down. Mom. He gripped my hands, calluses from weekend woodworking rough against my skin. What's going on? You look different. Fired up. I slid a manila folder across the table, printouts I'd burned the midnight oil pulling from public records. The kind of dirt that only a second chance lets you dig up preemptively. Claire's not who you think.
Look.
His eyes scanned the pages, bank statements showing transfers to an offshore account in her maiden name. Texts from her burner phone to LW. Liam Whitaker. Her cousin and Ethan's golf buddy, arranging late nights at the club. Then the kicker, a lease on a studio in Chelsea. Signed 2 months after their wedding, with Claire listed as sole tenant. What the hell? Ethan's face drained of color. This can't be. It is.
And it's just the start. Ethan, she's bleeding you dry.
That trust your grandma left? It's half gone. She's playing you, baby. For the money, for the status. And if you push back. I swallowed the bile of memory. She'll make you regret it. He shoved the folder away, coffee sloshing over the rim. You're wrong.
Claire loves me.
It's a misunderstanding. She's stressed about the baby. Baby? My gut twisted. In the first life, there'd been no baby, just a convenient miscarriage story after Ethan's death. Played for sympathy and the payout. What baby? She's pregnant. Announced it last week. That's why the accounts. She's planning a nursery fund. His voice cracked, hope flickering like a faulty bulb.
Mom, please.
Don't do this. Pregnant. The word hung there.
A bomb.
Was it even his? Liam's face flashed in my mind, that smug prick with his Rolex and his harmless flirtations at family barbecues. I wanted to scream it, to shatter the illusion. But controversial decision number 1, I backed off. Just enough. Okay.
For now.
But promise me, get a paternity test.
Discreetly.
And change the passwords yourself today. Protect what's yours. He nodded, relief washing over him, but doubt lingered in his eyes. As he left, kissing my cheek with that boyish grin, I whispered to his back, I won't let her take you again. Tracking Claire started that afternoon. I tailed her from their Upper East Side brownstone, my old Honda blending into the sea of yellow cabs. She emerged in Lululemon and oversized sunglasses, hailing a ride to a Pilates studio in Soho. From the cafe across the street, I watched her laugh with the receptionist. Too easy. Too rehearsed. My phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. Thanks for the talk. Got the password sorted. Love you.
Good boy. Now.
For the snake. By evening, I'd hacked her socials. Nothing fancy. Just a forgotten password reset from her alma mater email. The one she'd used for their wedding registry. Her feeds were a shrine to perfection. Brunches at St. Ambrius. Couples yoga in the Hamptons. Captions like, blessed beyond measure power couple. but buried in the stories archived. Of course, were the slips. A champagne flute at a rooftop bar with Liam. Her hand on his knee, a deleted post from a girl's trip to Miami. Tagged with a club known for its discreet VIP rooms. Rage simmered, but I channeled it. Controversial decision, too. I reached out to Liam. Not as the furious mother-in-law, but as Autumn Hale, the discreet consultant, with a profile on LinkedIn screaming integrity. A cold email, Mr. Whitaker. I represent a client interested in your firm's extracurriculars. Discretion assured. Coffee? He bit within hours. We met at a dive bar in Midtown. The kind with sticky floors and no questions asked vibes. Liam sauntered in, all bro charm and cologne that screamed trust fund. Autumn Hale? Ethan's mom.
Right?
What's this about? I slid into the booth, nursing a club soda, my smile sharp as a stiletto. Cut the crap. Liam.
Claire.
The studio. The transfers. My client's willing to pay for details, enough to keep your lifestyle intact. His laugh died quick when I dropped a photo printout. Him and Claire. Mid-kiss. Time-stamped from her phone. How? Doesn't matter. What does? $5,000 wired today. Or this hits Ethan's inbox by morning. Along with a word to your partners about the client entertainment budget. He paled, sweat beading on his forehead. It's not what you think.
She's
persuasive. But the kid? That's Ethan's. Swear. Liar. But I wired the money anyway, my savings, scraped from years of pinching pennies. Not for him, but for the leverage. Keep talking. Everything. By the time we parted, I had her playbook. The affair since law school. The plan to ease Ethan out with a quiet divorce once the baby was born. Then marry Liam for the merged family fortunes. The antifreeze? A last resort if he fought the prenup revisions she'd been pushing. I drove home through the neon blur of Times Square, hands shaking on the wheel. This wasn't justice, it was war. And in America, wars were won with lawyers, leaks, and the occasional dirty secret whispered in the right ear. Weeks blurred into a tense stance. Ethan moved in with me after a blowout fight, Claire's tears over his paranoia, my folder as Exhibit A. The pregnancy test came back. Inconclusive, but he didn't push, clinging to denial like a life raft. I played the doting grandma-to-be, baking pies and folding tiny onesies, all while feeding tips to a PI I'd hired on credit. Claire lawyered up quick, filing for separation, claiming emotional abuse. The tabloids nibbled, lawyer's wife in air war, but I stayed in the shadows, the ghost pulling strings. Then the escalation. One night, Ethan stumbled in from a mediation session, reeking of bourbon, a bruise blooming on his jaw. She hit me,
Mom.
Said if I don't sign over the trust, she'll make sure I never see the baby. My vision tunneled. Controversial decision 3. I drove to her sister's place in Queens that midnight, the PI's intel lighting the way. Claire answered the door in silk pajamas, eyes puffy from wine or crocodile tears. Autumn? What the? It's 2 a.m.
I didn't yell.
I stepped close, voice low and lethal. Sign the papers clean, or I go public. The affair. The money. The baby that's not his. Liam's already singing, wants immunity. Her laugh was brittle, champagne glass trembling in her hand. You crazy old bitch. You think anyone believes you? Ethan's the unstable one. And that PI? I own him now. She slammed the door. But not before I slipped the USB drive under it. Recordings from Liam. Crystal clear. As I walked back to my car, tires screeched behind me. A black SUV. Headlights blinding. I dove into the gutter as it clipped my bumper, fishtailing away into the night. Heart hammering. I called Ethan from the ER, minor whiplash. But the message was clear. Claire wasn't playing anymore. The revenge crystallized then, sharp as shattered glass. No more half measures. I needed allies, real ones. First up, my ex.
Richard Hale.
The Wall Street wolf who'd cheated on me with his secretary, but still owed me for raising his son solo. I cornered him at his golf club in Westchester. The one with greens manicured like lies.
Dad.
Ethan's voice echoed in my head as I signed in under a fake name. Richard looked up from his scotch, surprise flickering behind those steel-gray eyes. Autumn? Christ. What are you doing here? Saving our son. I dropped the folder, updated, with Claire's threats transcribed from Ethan's bruises. You owe me this. Pull strings at the firm. Get her disbarred. Or watch her bury him like she planned. He blanched. But the old shark in him surfaced. This true? The kid. Not his. But fight now. Or regret it forever. By week's end, whispers rippled through the legal circles. Ethics complaints against Claire Whitaker Hale. Anonymous but ironclad. Her partners froze her out. The prenup battle turned into a bloodbath. She retaliated vicious. Deepfakes of Ethan ranting paranoia. Leaked to HR. Painting him as unhinged. He lost the partnership, spiraling into nights of rage and regret. I held him through it, whispering, "This is the storm before clear skies." But inside, doubt gnawed. Was I saving him? Or dragging him through hell? The climax brewed in a deposition room downtown. Fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Claire sat across the table, flanked by her shark, her daddy's money buying the best. Ethan fidgeted beside me, his lawyer a pro bono firebrand eyed charmed with my widow's tale. MS. Hale, her attorneys sneered. You allege infidelity and fraud. But where's the proof? Your son's instability. I cut in, voice steady as a gavel. Ask her about the antifreeze. The one she bought in cash at the auto shop on 3rd. 2 days before Ethan's episode. Or the text to her lover. Planning his accident. Claire's eyes locked on mine.
Pure venom. Lies.
All of it. You're the poison. Autumn, always have been. The room tensed. Air thick with unspoken threats. Then the twist hit like a freight train. The door burst open. Liam staggering in. Face ashen. A thumb drive clutched like a confession. She's lying. I recorded it all. The plan to stage the suicide. Frame you. The chaos erupted. Claire lunged, nails raking his cheek. Screams echoing off the walls. Security swarmed, but not before she spat at me. You think this ends it? The baby's mine, Ethan's or not. It'll ruin you both. Ethan froze, the color leaching from his face. Baby, in the first life. That revelation came too late. After the funeral mud and my blood on the pavement. Here, it shattered him clean. He bolted, retching into the hall trash, while I chased, the deposition dissolving into shouts. We drove in silence to the bridge over the East River, city lights smearing like tears. Mom, he choked, if it's not mine. What am I even fighting for? Controversial decision for the hardest. I pulled over, gripped his shoulders. You're fighting for you. For the life she stole. Walk away clean. Let me finish this. He searched my eyes, seeing the steel I'd forged in death.
How?
Trust me. One last time. He nodded, vanishing into the night toward a buddy's couch in Queens. I turned the car toward Claire's hideout, a rented loft in Tribeca, courtesy of Daddy's credit card. She was packing when I kicked the door in, lockpick from the PI. Adrenaline from hell. Suitcases half-zipped, ultrasound photo fluttering to the floor. You, she whirled, phone in hand, dialing 911. I snatched it, smashing it under my heel. Hang up and listen. Ethan's gone. The firm's dropping you. Liam's testifying. It's over. Her laugh was manic, backing toward the window. Over? You meddling cunt. I built this, me, not your precious boy. He was weak.
Like you. The secret spilled then.
The one Ethan had gasped on his deathbed, not just the poison, but the crash that killed Richard years ago.
Claire.
She tampered with the brakes. For the insurance. To get to Ethan. I'd buried that in the first life. Too broken to fight.
Now?
I know. And tomorrow. The cops get the VIN report, the one the garage lost. Your prints on the wrench. She lunged, hands clawing for my throat. We grappled, crashing into the coffee table, glass shattering like her empire. I pinned her, knee to her belly, careful. No blood. Just pressure. Sign it. The annulment. Walk away with nothing. Tears streaked her makeup. The viper broken.
Why? You win.
Take it all. Not winning. Surviving. She signed, trembling, the papers I'd brought clutched like a noose. As sirens wailed distant, I left her there, door clicking shut behind me. Ethan waited at the airport, ticket to Seattle in hand, a fresh start with a firm that valued ethics over pedigrees. We hugged fierce, his whisper hot against my ear. Whatever you did. Thank you, Mom. The plane taxied away, and I drove into the dawn, the city awakening like it always did, gritty, unforgiving,
alive.
But twists don't end neat. Months later, a letter arrived, postmarked from a clinic in upstate New York. Claire's handwriting. Scrawled, the baby's yours. Autumn. Ethan's. And I'm keeping it away from your poison. But know this, I didn't kill Richard. He did it himself. Drunk. To spite you both. Check the dashcam footage. Burn in hell. I didn't burn it. I watched, frame by frame, Richard's car. Weaving. A bottle glinting. No wrench.
No sabotage.
Just a coward's end. The revenge? Hollow. I'd saved my son, shattered a monster, but unearthed a ghost. In this second life, justice tasted like ash, controversial, tense, utterly American. Yet as I boarded my own flight to join Ethan, to rebuild, I smiled. Because for once, the betrayer lost. And that was enough. The plane touched down in Seattle under a slate-gray sky. The kind that promised rain but delivered only drizzle, Pacific Northwest passive-aggressive. Fitting for my fresh start. Ethan waited at baggage claim. Taller somehow in his new wool coat. A tentative smile cracking his beard-stubbled face.
Mom.
You made it. We hugged like survivors. The kind who'd stared down hurricanes and walked away singed but standing. His apartment was a third-floor walk-up in Capitol Hill. All exposed brick and mismatched furniture. His doing. The anti-Upper East Side rebellion. No doorman, he joked, hauling my suitcase up the stairs. But the view? Killer. That night, we cracked open a bottle of Cabernet, non-alcoholic for me. Doctor's orders after the whiplash that still ached like a warning, and toasted to do-overs. He didn't ask about Claire. Not directly. Instead, the papers came through. Annulment final.
She's
staying in New York. With the baby. My gut clenched. The ultrasound's shadow lingering. You okay with that? He shrugged, swirling his glass. It's not mine, right? That's what you said. I hesitated, the last stone in my throat. In the heat of the deposition, Liam's panic had spilled half-truths. The affair, yes. The paternity, a maybe. But the letter? That twisted the knife. If it was Ethan's, I'd robbed him of a child. Controversial decision 5, omission.
Yeah.
Not yours. Relief washed his features, but guilt flickered too. I keep thinking, what if I'd fought harder, seen it sooner? Baby, I cupped his cheek, voice fierce.
You survived.
That's the win. Sleep came fitful that night. Dreams splicing timelines, the funeral mud, Claire's nails, Richard's swerve. I woke sweating, the clock glowing 3:17 a.m. Ethan's snores drifted from the next room. A lifeline. This life was mine to shape, no more ghosts. By morning, I was plotting. Seattle wasn't escape, it was empire building. I'd always been the behind-the-scenes type, editing manuscripts for indie presses, ghostwriting self-help for execs who couldn't string a sentence.
Now,
leverage that into something sharp. I hit the co-working spaces, pitching, Hale Consulting, narrative integrity for the modern executive, translation, spin control, reputation rehab, the kind of service that turns scandals into stepping stones. First client, a tech bro named Marcus, mid-30s, accused of insider trading after a messy divorce. His ex had leaked emails, painting him as a shark. We met at a vegan cafe in Fremont, rain pattering the windows like impatient fingers. Autumn, he said, fidgeting with his oat milk latte. I need this gone. Yesterday, I leaned in, channeling the deposition steel. Not gone. Reframed. We own the story, devoted dad, framed by bitterness. But it costs and you deliver intel. On Claire Whitaker. She's fleeing here. I hear. His eyes widened. Gossip traveled fast in these circles. The lawyer chick? Yeah. Word is she's crashing with family in Bellevue. Baby due soon. You know her? Intimately. I slid the contract over. Sign. And we're golden. Marcus signed. By week's end, I'd buried his scandal under a TEDx talk on ethical innovation, and in return, he fed me Claire's Landing, a sublet in a gated community, OB visits at Swedish Medical, and a new job hunt, remote paralegal for a startup. Desperate times. Ethan thrived at his firm, Pierce and Lang, old school with a progressive bent. He came home buzzing about cases, pro bono for immigrant rights, antitrust suits against big pharma. Feels right,
Mom.
like breathing. I nodded, pride swelling, but vigilance never slept. Controversial decision 6, surveillance. A cheap drone from Amazon, app-controlled, hovering over her Bellevue balcony at dusk. She paced there, belly rounding under a cashmere sweater, phone pressed to her ear. "Liam? Daddy?" I couldn't hear, but her gestures, sharp, frustrated, spoke volumes. One night, the drone caught gold, her tossing a pill bottle into the recycling antifreeze remover, the antidote she'd hoarded like a talisman. Paranoia. Or preparation. I saved the footage. A digital sword of Damocles. Fall turned to winter. Seattle's chill seeping into bones. Ethan dated a barista named Riley. Tattoos and easy laugh, while I built my roster. Whistleblowers. Jilted spouses. The underdogs clawing up. Revenue trickled, then flowed. I paid off the PI debt. Bought Ethan a leather jacket for Christmas. But Claire loomed. A storm cloud. News hit via Marcus's network. She'd filed for child support. Naming Ethan as father. DNA test demanded. Panic call at 6 a.m. "Mom? It's her." "The lawyers say I have to comply." "Comply," I echoed. Mind racing. "But on our terms."
Private lab.
My dime. The results arrived Valentine's Day. Slipped under my office door like a curse. 99.9% match. Ethan's. My hands shook as I burned the letter from Claire, her victory taunt, but kept the test. Truth was a weapon, double-edged. That night, over takeout pho, I broke it to him. "The baby's yours, son." Biologically, his fork clattered, soup steaming untouched.
How?
"You said I was wrong. Protecting you." Tears pricked. Unbidden.
But now?
"Your call." He paced the tiny kitchen, shadows dancing from the under-cabinet lights. "I want to know her." "Him." "Whatever." "But Claire. She'll weaponize it." "Which is why we fight smart." I pulled up the drone feeds. The pill bottle zoom. "She's unstable." "We've got proof." His jaw set. The lawyer resurfacing.
No. Clean.
Joint custody. Supervised. For the kid. Noble. Naive. But I nodded. "Your lead." The hearing was a circus. Family court in King County. Wood-paneled and solemn. Claire sat prim in pearls. Belly a shield. Her attorney a bulldog from the old firm. "Mr. Hale seeks to disrupt my client's stability," he barked. After abandonment, Ethan stood tall. Voice even. "I seek shared parenting. For our child." Gasps rippled. The judge's eyebrow arched. Claire's glare could curdle milk. Fixed on me in the gallery. Post-recess. She cornered me in the hall, heels clicking like gunfire. "You did this," she hissed. "Close enough for Chanel no. 5 to choke me." "Twisted him against me." "Twisted? You poisoned him."
Claire.
Literally. I held her gaze, unflinching. "Sign the agreement, or the bottle footage goes viral." "Mommy dearest." Her hand twitched. Slap? Strangle? But the bailiff loomed, and she deflated.
Fine.
"But you'll regret it. All of you." The judge ruled fair. Joint custody. Therapy mandated. Ethan exhaled like a man reprieved, hugging me fierce outside. "We did it, Mom." "Not yet." That night, my phone pinged an anonymous email. Attachment heavy. Claire's dashcam footage. The real one, Richard's car. Yes. But a figure in the shadows, her. Wrench in gloved hand, loosening brakes under the Hamptons' garage light. Timestamp: the weekend before the crash. She'd sent it.
Why? Taunt?
Trap? Controversial Decision 7. Forward it to the cold case unit. Anonymously. No note. Just facts. NYPD called 2 days later. MS.
Hale?
Your tip on the 2018 fatality. It's viable. Suspect in custody pending extradition. Claire's mugshot hit the feeds by noon. Disheveled.
No muck-up.
The Viper caged. Murder 1. Vehicular manslaughter upgraded. Ethan stared at his screen. Riley's hand on his shoulder.
She
Killed Dad. I nodded, the weight lifting like fog. To get to you. But it's done. He pulled me into the hug. The three of us tangled, family. Fractured but forging. Spring bloomed. Cherry blossoms dusting the markets. The baby arrived in May, a girl.
Lila Claire Hale.
7 pounds of wrinkled perfection. Ethan held her first, tears carving tracks down his cheeks. She's ours.
Mom.
Finally, Claire's trial loomed summer. But from her cell, she pled out life.
No parole.
Liam testified, crumbling under cross like wet paper.
Justice.
American style. Slow.
Spectacle.
Satisfying. I watched Lila's first steps in Ethan's park. Grass stains on her knees. Laughter bubbling. No more secrets buried.
No betrayals unchained.
In this life, I'd paid the toll, lies, hacks, a mother's ruthless calculus. But as the sun dipped, gilding the sound, Ethan slung an arm around me. You saved us. You know. I smiled. Secrets mine alone.
Nah.
We saved each other. Yet in quiet moments, doubt whispered. Was the revenge too clean? The twist too pat? Richard's ghost lingered. But so did the fire in my veins, the one death reignited. Seattle suited us. Tense edges softening into rhythm. Consulting boomed. I keynote at a women's summit. Reclaiming your narrative. Ethan partnered up. Lila's coo's his ringtone. One evening. Package at the door. No return address. Velvet box inside. A locket, mine. From Richard's proposal. Engraved forever yours. Note. Not sabotage. He left it for you. In the glove box.
Goodbye. A.
Claire. From prison? Or absolution's ghost. I clasped it on. Cool against my collarbone. Controversial end. Forgiveness. Partial. For Lila's sake. For mine. The city hummed below. Alive with second chances. I died once. Betrayed and broken. Lived twice. Vengeful and victorious. In America, that's the real hook. You get one life or two. If you're lucky and pissed enough. Years folded like origami, sharp creases, unexpected shapes. Lila turned 5 in a backyard bash under Seattle's reluctant sun. Piñata swinging from the maple. Her curls wild as Ethan's laugh. Riley now hail.
Wedding buns glinting, grilled veggie burgers.
The air thick with charcoal and kid chaos. I watched from the porch. Iced tea sweating in my grip. The locket a familiar weight. Claire's note, buried in a lockbox. A relic of wars won. But peace was a fragile thing. Stitched with what-ifs. Ethan thrived, senior partner now. Specializing in family law. The irony not lost. Helping the ones who get screwed over, he'd say. Winking. Lila adored him. Her daddy stories, bedtime rituals of capes and dragons.
Me?
Grandma Autumn. The cool one, with tales of New York grit and magic resets that blurred into fairy dust for her.
Consulting?
I'd scaled it, Hale Narrative Group, a boutique firm with offices in the Pike Place shadow. Clients poured in, Me Too survivors scripting comebacks, CEOs laundering legacies. Marcus, board member now, owing me favors like IOUs. Life, post-revenge, was a high-wire act, steady, but one gust from wobble. The call came on a Tuesday, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Unknown number, East Coast area code. I answered, voice tone neutral.
Hale Consulting. Autumn. A pause.
Static crackling.
It's
Richard. My heart stuttered. Ghost or glitch? Richard Hale. Dead a decade. Voice tinny through the line.
no.
Not dead. The crash footage. Claire's tampering exposed. But the autopsy? Revised post-trial. Coma. Not corpse. He'd washed up in a private clinic. Vegetative. Bankrolled by offshore accounts I'd never touched. Richard. The name tasted like rust.
You're
Awake. 3 months now. Cough. Wet and ragged. Docs say miracle. But I know better. I saw her, Claire, before the lights went out. Wrench in hand.
you.
You brought her down. I gripped the desk. Wood biting palms. Ethan's fine. That's what matters. A chuckle. Feeble.
My boy.
And you? The witch hunt. Justice. Lie? Truth? The line between blurred in Second Lives. He wanted to meet. One coffee. For old times. Seattle Tacoma Lounge. Tomorrow. Controversial decision 8. Go. Closure. Or trap. I booked the flight. Told Ethan a client consult. Kissed Lila's forehead with extra linger. The lounge smelled of pretzels and regret. Richard at a corner table, thinner. Scarred. But those eyes. Predatory still. He rose slow. Cane tapping. Embrace awkward as divorce papers. Autumn. His hand lingered on my arm.
Familiar poison.
You look fierce. Life hardens you.
Iset.
Ordering black coffee, no cream.
No sugar. No bullshit.
Why now? Therapy. Dreams. Of you. Screaming my name in that courtroom. He leaned in, breath sour. Claire confessed everything. The affair. The breaks. Said you blackmailed her. Hacked Liam. Went vigilante. I sipped.
Scalding.
She poisoned my son. Framed me for his suicide.
Killed you or tried.
What would you do? Fight. His grin. Wolfish. That's why I'm here.
Partnership. Hale a hale, legagi firm.
Ethan leads. You consult.
Me?
Silent partner. Redeeming sins. Temptation slithered. Power. Validation. The empire we'd half-built before he strayed. But memory flashed. The secretary's perfume on his collar. The alimony scraps. Ethan's childhood braces paid for my editing gigs.
No.
The word dropped like a gavel. We're done. Richard. You died that night, for us. Stay dead. His face crumpled, then hardened. You'll regret. I regret nothing. I stood, chair scraping. Tell Ethan hi. From the ghost. Back home. The rain had cleared. Rainbow arching over the sound. Ethan grilled me over dinner. Lila bedded. Riley washing dishes. Client rough.
Worse.
Better. Your father's. Alive. The fork paused. World tilting.
What?
I spilled it. The coma. The call. The offer. His jaw worked. Grief and fury warring. He wants in, after everything. Family's messy. I squeezed his hand. Your call. He called the next day, reunion at a neutral bistro. Riley and Lila in tow. I watched from afar. Drone of my old instincts buzzing. Richard cooed over Lila. Awkward but earnest. Ethan stiff. Thawing inch by inch. No partnership, but a truce. Monthly visits. Supervised. Therapy baked in. Controversial decision 9. Trust the thaw. I join the next. Lila's giggles bridge building. Summer swelled. Lila's 6th birthday a splash park riot. Water guns. Sunburns. Cakes smeared like war paint. Richard wheeled in. Gifts piled. A dollhouse. Books on strong grandmas. Ethan clapped his back.
Genuine now.
Progress. Fragile as spun sugar. But twists. They circle. Fall brought the leak, anonymized client file from my firm, splashed across legal blogs. Hail narrative. Blackmail or brilliance? Details blurred. But the scent was Claire's. Prison whispers. A guard's cousin in my orbit. Calls flooded. Cancellations.
Threats.
Marcus bailed. Board's seat yanked. Ethan defended. Mom's clean. It's sabotage, but doubt seated. I traced it. A burner IP. Bellevue routing.
Claire.
Paroled early on good behavior. Vanished post-release. Panic clawed. Lila's school. Ethan's commute. The confrontation brewed at Richard's penthouse, his recovery pad, overlooking the market. He hosted family night, but I arrived early. Uninvited. Autumn. He poured scotch. Ice clinking. The leak. Yours. Accusation hung. His laugh barked. Me? To what end?
Control. Pull me down.
Play's savior. Eyes narrowed. You're paranoid. Like her. Door buzzed Ethan. Riley. Lila chattering. Dinner thawed tensions. But undercurrents swirled. Lila's story time. Grandpa's a dragon tamer. Post-bedtime. Ethan cornered me. Dad says Claire's out. Targeting us. Truth hit like brakes screeching. We end this. Together. The PI, retired. But loyal, pinned her in a Reno motel. Bleached blonde. Waitressing under Elena. We drove. Family convoy. Richard's SUV tailing. Controversial decision 10. Confrontation. Not cops. Foreclosure. She opened the door in a robe. Cigarette dangling. Shock morphing to sneer. The Hales. Full circus. Ethan stepped forward. Lila's photo clutched.
Why?
The leak. The threats. It's over. Claire. Her eyes raked us, me. Venomous, Richard.
Pitying.
Over? You stole my life. My daughter. Our daughter. Ethan's voice cracked. You tried to kill us. All of us. She laughed. Bitter smoke curling. Richard? He deserved it, cheating bastard. Ethan? Weak link. You. Autumn? The meddler who reset the board. Reset.
She knew?
Paranoia spiked. How? The locket. Her grin twisted. I sent it. With the real footage. But you? Digging dirt? Blackmailing Liam? I had a friend tell you.
Second chance. Huh.
Goddamn cheat code. The world tilted, exposed.
Raw.
Richard gasped, Riley paled. Ethan. What the hell does that mean? I met her gaze. Steel to shatter glass. Means I died once. Came back. To save him. Silence swallowed the room. Rain pattering the cheap roof. Claire's laugh dissolved to sobs. I lost everything. For what? A kid who hates me. Ethan softened. The lawyer's mercy. Therapy. Not prison. For Lila. She nodded. Broken.
Fine.
Go. We left her there. Motel neon flickering goodbye. Drive home silent. Stars pricking the clearing sky. Ethan broke it first. True?
The
rebirth. I nodded. Tears hot. Every word. He hugged me at the light.
Fierce.
Then we keep going. All of us. Richard faded back. Visits sparse. Sins unabsolved. Claire? Distant co-parent. Shadows lengthening but chained. Lila's 10th birthday dawned crisp. Olympics snow-capped. Cake. Candles. Wishes whispered. She blew. Smoke curling like secrets released. Later. Porch swing creaking. Ethan beside me. You did it.
Mom.
The impossible. I clasped the locket. Richard's ghost warm now. We did. In this life, second. Stolen. Savored. Betrayal's sting dulled to scar. Revenge? A bridge burned. But the far shore golden. America's gift. Reinvention. Tense. Controversial. Unapologetic. I lived it twice. And, damn, it was worth every bullet. Every lie. Every dawn.